Good morning, children, and welcome back to the digital classroom of Vikram Juneja. In my previous video, I dealt with the line by line explanation of the short story A Face in the Dark by Ruskin Bond. In today's video, we are going to conclude this short story by discussing the theme, the title justification, and the character sketch of the main protagonist of the story, Mr. Oliver. To begin with, we are going to deal with the theme of the story, A Face in the Dark. Ruskin Bond's short story A Face in the Dark is a horror story that deals with humanity's collective imagination with the dark and the paranormal. The protagonist of the story, Mr. Oliver, is an Anglo-Indian teacher in an English boarding school at Shimla. One night, on his way to school from Shimla Bazaar, he meets two paranormal figures in the form of a boy and then a watchman, both of whom had no eyes, ears, mouth, or nose on their face. Then the story ends abruptly, leaving the readers in the dark. The author has created an eerie atmosphere right from the outset of the story to make an ordinary plot look extraordinary. The atmosphere of suspense, mystery, and surprise, along with the plot dealing with the paranormal, makes it a great supernatural story. Though, apparently, A Face in the Dark is just another horror story, a number of interpretations are out there. Some readers feel that the round, smooth head may indicate lack of individuality among the students of that school, while others believe it could well be a figment of Mr. Oliver's imagination or even a prank played by the students. So children, this was with regard to the theme of the story A Face in the Dark. Now we shall deal with the title justification of the story. I'm going to tell you as to how the title of the story A Face in the Dark is an appropriate title. Ruskin Bond's short story A Face in the Dark is a horror story. In this story, Bond explores the humanity's collective imagination with paranormal. The very title of the story, A Face in the Dark, plays a great role in creating the atmosphere of suspense and eeriness even before the story begins. Just reading the title of the story without knowing what's inside, the readers get a feeling that the story has something to do with darkness, mystery, and suspense. An image of a face in the dark is always going to arouse a sense of horror in our minds. That is why Bond chooses such a fitting title for the story. From another interpretation, the title, A Face in the Dark, may well indicate that a face in darkness will always be blurry. On a metaphorical level, that would mean if you don't get closer to a person, you can never understand them. The expression of mind is seen of the face, as they say. So, if you see a person in the dark, that is, without shedding enough light on them, you will always see the face to be featureless. That is, you will never see their individuality. From the symbolic approach too, the title is well justified. So, to conclude, on a literal level in the title, A Face in the Dark, serves the purpose of creating the eerie atmosphere right from the word go, while on a metaphorical level, this may suggest the need for closeness, fellow feeling, and appreciating others' individuality. From both angles, the title is just and apt. So children, this was with regard to the title justification of the story A Face in the Dark. Now we are going to deal with the character sketch of the main protagonist of this story, that is Mr. Oliver. Character sketch of Mr. Oliver. In the story A Face in the Dark, Ruskin Bond has presented the protagonist, Mr. Oliver, as an Anglo-Indian teacher in a reputed English public school in Shimla, Himachal Pradesh, India. The story being very short in length, the author has avoided detailed descriptions of his appearance and feelings. Moreover, Mr. Oliver speaks very little in the course of the story. But still, we get a vivid picture of Mr. Oliver's character from the story. From the context of the story, we can say that Mr. Oliver is a man of knowledge and skills to have got the position of a teacher in a school which has been called Eton of the East. He also seems to be professional and able at his business, and that is why he has been teaching there for several years. Oliver is also a realistic man, as the narrator mentions. Oliver was not a nervous or imaginative man. We see Mr. Oliver taking the usual lonely path through the pine forest while returning to the school compound from the Shimla Bazaar even late at night. That only supports the narrator's comment on him not being nervous. He is seemingly courageous enough to take that lonely way while other people are afraid of the eerie sound made by the wind through the pine forest. We also find Mr. Oliver's common sense in carrying a torch with him. From the few words that Oliver utters in the story, we find Mr. Oliver as a man of discipline. He does not like the boy being out at that evening, as it is against the rule of the school. That's the reason why he believes that that boy is a miscreant who is indisciplined, who is out of the school at odd hours. And that's the reason he asked the boy as to what he was doing there that night. So children, this was with regard to the character sketch of Mr. Oliver, the main protagonist of the story. And with this, we have come to the end of the story. We are left with one more story in our syllabus, and that will be dealt with in my next two videos. I'm attaching a worksheet with this particular video. This particular worksheet has an extract followed by 5 questions, and I'll expect you to attempt these 5 questions in your fair literature and English notebooks. With this, we come to the end. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. God bless you all. Take care.